Hey there, micro folks. This is Mr. Hooker, and this is the Oligopoly video number 2. So let's get right to work. Oligopolies and advertising is where we left off, so let's kick to it. Um, Oligopolies commonly compete through product development. Advertising, they are big advertisers. As I mentioned in the last video, think about car dealer, so automobile manufacturers, automobile dealers, cell phone companies, household appliances, TVs, refrigerators, washers, and dryers. Think about the number of ads you see for all those different products. They're all oligopolistic manufacturers. They're all oligopolistic companies, all differentiated oligopolies. Um, so all of that is less easily duplicated than price changes, and they have the money to advertise more so than monopolistic competition, which, as I mentioned, basically spends all their money on advertising, but all their economic profit. But a lot of times they don't have economic profit, so they don't advertise as much. But it is kind of what it is for that. So some of the positive effects of advertising: it's a low cost way of providing information to consumers. It does enhance competition. It does also speed up technological progress and can help firms obtain economies of scale. So, some studies were done in the optometry industry, and it was found that, like, there are certain states, well, first off, there are certain states that allow advertising in optometry, and there are certain states who do not. Here in Tennessee, we do. If you have not noticed, like the America's Best and the Warby Parker ads, but there are certain states that do not allow optometry advertising, and so, which is basically eyeglasses and contacts and all that. So, um, what they found was that in those states that allow optometry advertising, that consumers received a higher quality product at a lower price. They received better products at lower prices than in the states that did not allow optometry advertising, which is amazing if you think about it, right? So we get, so they allowed advertising, which is a cost to the firm, but because of that advertising, you receive better products at lower prices. So that form of competition just made it better. The largest U.S. advertisers: Amazon at $6.9 billion dollars of advertising, Comcast $6.1 billion dollars, AT&T at 5.5, P&G at 4.3, Disney at 3.2, Alphabet, which is Google, at 3.1, Verizon at 3.1, Charter Communications, which is basically Spectrum, at 3, American Express at 3, and General Motors at 3. Some negative effects of advertising: it can be manipulative. It can make you buy things you never thought you would want. It makes you buy things you didn't really want, you didn't really need. And it can contain misleading claims that confuse consumers. It will do these weird things. It will do things that, you really didn't, that really may not be true. And it depends on who evaluates those claims in certain ways. Um, so I've had people say, forum in my online classes for the pre-class discussion. I had somebody post something that I've only ever taken down one thing in that forum, and it was the one thing that somebody posted. They believed a claim from some medical thing that it would cure cancer, and I was just like, yeah, I can't leave that up. No, I'm sorry. And so I took it down, and it was some medical, um, it was like some juice or something like that, and I was just like, yeah, I can't do that, not in good faith. So that's just a negative effect of advertising. Like, some people will believe stuff like that, like, hey, this stuff will, raise the dead and whatever, and you can't let that stand. Um, Sometimes consumers may pay higher prices for a good while foregoing a better, lower priced, unadvertised version of the product, just because they don't know it exists. Your top 10 brand names in the world right now. So take a look at this, because this was 2021, Interbrand's 2021 survey. And in just a second, I'm going to show you their 2022 list. Um, 2023 isn't out yet. Um, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Samsung, Coca-Cola, Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, McDonald's, and Disney were the top 10 brand names in 2021. Um, and so we're going to get out of this, and then I'm going to get into this right here. Here are your top brand names, and I'll make this a little bit larger for you. There you go. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Samsung, Toyota, Coca-Cola, Mercedes-Benz, Disney, and Nike now is number 10. McDonald's is now number 11. I think they were number 8 or 9 there before. Tesla's 12, BMW at 13, Louis Vuitton at 14, Cisco is 15. Amazing Instagram is 16. But that is how that goes. And so there those are. That link is there for you. You can check it out and check out the whole list, how that rolls for you. So back to this. Oligopolies are inefficient. They're going to be inefficient. They're going to make money, and making money just means that you are going to be inefficient. So they're going to make a lot of money, and a lot of money just makes them inefficient in that sense. They're productively inefficient because price is above minimum ATC, allocative efficiency because price is greater than marginal cost. So they do have increased foreign competition. They do limit pricing, and they will use technological advances. Maybe not always the best technology, but they will use a lot of technology in their goods. So you'll see fast food now, which is oligopolistic. They're using kiosks now, which is, pretty good technology if you think about it. One-time game strategies. One-time game strategy is different than a repeated game strategy. So if you're going to do a strategy against a person or firm that you are never going to see again, you will play that differently than if you've got to do this against them over and over. So repeated game strategies, think Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nike and Adidas, Walmart and Target, right? So these firms will do a strategy against each other over and over and over and over again. One-time strategy, you're going to do this one time. You are never going to do this against that opponent again. You will play that differently. So you have simultaneous games where you're going to do this at the same time. Think rock, paper, scissors, right? 1, 2, 3, shoot. You can have a positive sum, a zero sum, or a negative sum game. Positive sum game is a win-win game. So we can both win. You don't have to have a loser. So it can be a win-win. Zero sum game, if I win, you must lose. For me to win, somebody else must lose. Negative sum game, that's a lose-lose game. So everybody loses in that game. Everybody comes away blind. There can be a firm's dominant strategy. If you watch the Dark Knight thing, you understand that a dominant strategy is the idea that that is a strategy that you will always pick, regardless of what your opponent picks. So you will always pick a certain strategy that is your dominant strategy. Nash Equilibrium, if you've ever seen the movie A Beautiful Mind, it's kind of old movie now, but still a great movie based on John Nash, a brilliant mathematician who won the Nobel Prize in Economics for his work in game theory. It's the outcome for which neither firm wants to deviate. I mean, I watched it because he was a great guy for game theory and such, and I love that. I love game theory and behavioral economics in general. It's just kind of disappointing to realize after you watch the movie that half the people in there are not real. So it's just kind of one of those things. So it's the outcome from which neither one firm wants to deviate. Your current strategy is viewed as optimal, and it produces what we call a stable and persistent outcome. So that is how that works. So for a one-time game, so we're going to do this one time. Dramco and Chipco will never see each other again. Two competitors, two strike strategies. Everything has a payoff matrix, independent action, stimulated response. So you have an international and a national strategy. So Dramco has the possibility of getting paid 11 or 20. Um, they are going to choose, they would choose 20. If they had the opportunity of getting 11 or 20, they would choose 20. Um, and if they had the option of getting 5 or 17, they would choose 17. Okay. Um, which honestly would put us at, which would put us at national. So this is one of those deals where and then also the same for Chipco. So we should be at national, um, but they ended up at international, which don't know how. One time in a one-time game, um, you would choose 20 over 11. You would choose 17 over 5. So interesting. Credible threats, empty threats. Um, if somebody is threatening you with, hey, I'm going to cheat or I'm going to move on you, credible threats, a threat that's believable by the other firm and could establish a collusive agreement. So we may move, we may not. So you got to believe that that person's going to move and can actually make you stay. A strong enforcer could prevent cheating. So if you have 4 or 5 firms, one firm that's a strong enforcer could prevent the cheating, and that would generate higher profits for everybody and could be countered by a threat by a rival. So, you could counter that somehow. Empty threats is something that nobody believes. So if you make an empty threat, then everybody's like, yeah, you're not going to do that. Yeah, shut up. Nobody cares. Repeated game that recurs. You may cooperate and not compete strongly, and the rival reciprocates. Coke and Pepsi, Boeing and Airbus, Walmart and Target, Nike and Adidas. And so these folks just keep going and allow the others to go. So this is why you may never see Pepsi and Coke on sale at the same time in the same place. They've actually been sued for that before. It's just one of those things. So period one, you look here, you got Too Cool and Thirst Q. They each have a promotional and a normal budget. And so what happens is in period one, Thirst Q runs a normal budget while Too Cool runs a promotional budget. Too Cool makes 16 while Thirst Q makes 8. Period 2, we have Thirst Q running their promotional budget while Too Cool runs their normal budget, and Thirst Q makes 15 while Too Cool makes 10. So they each, so they reciprocate for each other and help each other out, sort of, in a way that they each make money. And this is kind of the repeated game kind of way. There is a first mover advantage with the preemption of entry. If Big Box and Huge Box are trying to do something here, and Big Box has the first move, they can choose to build or not build. Looking at this matrix, if they don't build, then basically they know that Huge Box will, and Huge Box would make 12. Or they can choose to build and see that Huge Box could build and everybody loses money, or Huge Box would not build and Big Box would make 12 and Huge Box would make nothing. So with that being known, Big Box will build and block Huge Box from the market. So here's a chance for you to do some stuff. GameTheory.net, which is an awesome website. I should have had that one open too. Let me Let me open that one as well. If you go there, you can do educators or students. Um, it's the same either way. If I click students, it takes you here. And then you could go to down here to apply to interactive materials. And you can do this prisoner's dilemma for the stuff that we've just done. And then a great one is this repeated prisoner's dilemma. And then you would just go to the game. And there's 5 different strategies you would play against and do that. That is an awesome way to test this. Another great one is along the mixed strategy one. This one called Quack. So this one you're moving a rock. You got chips. You're moving a rock to the end and trying to win. It's designed for kids 7 to 12. Once you get to your age, for some reason the math doesn't work as well for you, but it's really kind of fun. And then probability, I think it is. Is that right? Please be right. Yeah. And then this version, the Shodor Education Foundation, they have a really good Monty Hall game. Please, maybe. There you go. And that works. So basically, you pick a door, and then you decide to switch or stay. And if you switch, it shows me I've stayed one, and I've lost it. And so you can do it again. And you do that, and you switch, and I've won. So it shows I've switched one, and I've won it. And so it just keeps going that way. All right. U.S. credit card industry is a concentrated oligopoly. So the card issuing banks make money on the unpaid balances. And so, I've mentioned how that worked before, but they don't compete aggressively on interest rates. They engage in non-price competition, primarily rewards programs. So um, that has been going on for a number of years now, and that's gotten kind of crazy. But it is the way it works. It's kind of interesting how that has gone and how that has evolved. But it is. I don't know. I don't know if it's good or bad. I mean, I'm tempted to say it's more bad than good, but it's interesting to say the least. All right, that is it for Oligopoly. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk to you later.